What you don't complete, you will repeat. In other words, the core issues that you don't resolve, you'll stay stuck in that. All your life, in fact. Repetition, compulsion. These are situations and dynamics from our childhood which we feel as our comfort zone, even when they are actually objectively very painful. We seek them out and we repeat them. This is how you can understand why. You see this a lot in the Man Up group. Guys ask, why does this girl that I love keep going back to her abusive ex? I just made a Man Up episode on that a couple weeks ago. Over and over and fucking over. It's the same reason why you keep going out in the club and trying to pick up chicks. You're the same thing. You're going back to your abusive ex. It's the same fucking thing. She knows that that's her comfort zone because of whatever issues in her childhood. She's taken that route of moving towards and anchoring the feeling of connection or love to that abuse. And so when she's in her right mind, her prefrontal cortex is working, she'll go out and seek a guy that she thinks will treat her well. She will never be attracted to him, though. No chemistry is there. It's like when you guys, when you started out, nice guys, looking for the hot girl, could have met a nice girl that's like you, like your sister, you know, and then you would not have been attracted to her. We're talking about that in the break, right? The twin version of you, but she's female. You weren't sexually attracted to her. You would have been good friends with her like your sister, but you don't want to fuck your sister, I hope. Right? It's the same sort of thing. Same sort of thing. It's not incest, it's actually different, but same sort of thing. It would feel like fucking your sister because she's so like you. So that's no good because you don't like you. You don't like you. You like the opposite of you. When you're the mild-mannered Clark Kent, you want the wild, crazy, hot, sexy one. Well, that's when you're in your emotions. When you're in your head, you'll be like, yeah, I need to find an intelligent, educated, responsible girl. Yeah, whatever. That's what they all say on the surveys when they write it to me. And then we go out to the club and like, here's a really nice girl. She's just sitting by herself, you know, like all, you know, demure and shit. And they're like, yeah. And then they're looking on the stage, the girl dancing in her bikini. Like, okay, I get it. All right, let's just... What we don't complete, we will end up repeating. If you don't resolve the early issues from your childhood, you will simply repeat them, that pattern over and over until you die. Like a drug addict. You seek it out and repeat it. Even when you know it's bad for you. You know, all the girls who keep dating bad boys who abuse them, they will all say he was awful. They'll even go and look for a victim, because the victim becomes the predator. Right? Because codependency and narcissism is two sides of the same coin. That's why a lot of you guys who haven't owned up to your nice guy-ness, I cannot trust you as a man, as a human being. Because you're a narcissist. If I were to give you my superpowers of pickup shit, you turn into a nasty guy. I've seen it. So I've learned my lesson. So it's better to keep you in a weaker position so that you'll finally go see a therapist. Right? Because otherwise we'll just prolong this whole thing. And we'll have to wait 3 years after you fucked your way through the clubs and you finally realize, maybe some of them never actually realize it. They just keep being very empty. But anyway, when you don't complete, you will repeat, like the girl who keeps going back to the abusive ex. And she says, I know he's abusive. And then she goes and finds some guy who will listen to her and give her his shoulder to cry on and so forth. And then she keeps repeating the cycle. Because as soon as she gets the narcissistic supply from that guy, now it's sort of like a video game. Now she's all energied up. She got her health packs from him, you know, stole his health packs. And she goes off and goes back to the abusive ex or finds another bad boy ex who will beat her. And then he comes in the Man Up group like, I'm so confused. I was a good guy. And you find out that actually he was actually also a narcissist. He just sucked at it. Because you can tell a narcissist because he didn't actually give that love and support from his heart. He gave it from his dick. He gave it in order to get. Right? So he's just as bad as all of them. He just had a bad strategy. He just had a bad strategy. So the guy at the top who's abusing, he's actually the one who wins the Machiavellian game. So that's why if you trust somebody, if there's somebody who starts coming at you, and there's a lot of this happening in the manosphere, like men's world stuff, and they say, well, they look at the reality of evolution and they embrace it with no goodness. There's no goodness. There's no moral good and evil. They will only be nice to you as long as they can use you. So once you throw out morality, I will crush you or I will stay away from you. Because what is this? It's a survival, right? So look out, you know. But if you want love, you'll never find love that way because love requires vulnerability. And then what happens when you're a child is you get all of this hurt, you find a coping strategy, you stay with that. The coping strategy protects you at the moment. And then when you're a child, and then you grow up with the same fucking coping strategy because no one told you all these different options. No one gave you therapy. I think that's the way forward, by the way, child therapy, but whatever. So then you become an adult. And adults, they build defensive mechanisms that prevent them from facing their core issues. One defensive mechanism is, and it's happening in your unconscious mind, by the way. So you're building all of this in your unconscious mind. That will be more obvious when we get to the part about the parts, the internal parts. But you have this defensive mechanism that will prevent you from actually facing the core issues. One will be that repetition compulsion. You just keep repeating it because that's not just your comfort zone, but that's the only thing you really know. And then the other is there's a part of you in your unconscious that prevents you from hearing or understanding the words I'm saying if, in fact, you are still stuck in narcissism and aren't ready yet to be vulnerable and move forward and grow. Another is you might have to pee. I'm making these fucking videos long for a reason. None of this dumbing down for YouTube bullshit. If you can't fucking listen to me for 7 minutes, I don't want you to listen to me. It's too late. I can't help you. If you're just coming in for quick tips, go somewhere else on the internet. The internet's full of that shit. But if you're serious about learning about yourself and women and all that, then listen up. Because that's a defensive mechanism to suddenly lose concentration. When you can stay concentrated for 3 fucking hours if it's a good movie. Concentration is not the issue. Right? So, and if you can stay concentrated on a math exam for 3 hours, you've done it. So, and then, the more obvious one is when you actually read the book, your eyes go over the words, and then 2 hours later, you do not remember any of the things you read. You actually made it through the book, right? You don't remember anything. That's a defensive mechanism, cognitive blindness. Another is your body just starts to, you get a headache maybe, or you get some pains in your stomach. You gotta, that's a great excuse to exit. And your body's giving you messages to do that. Or maybe you fall asleep. That's also a very common one. Obviously, there are real physical reasons for this, but you should start seeing this as if it's a pattern. A lot of headaches are psychosomatic. So put it out there. Defensive mechanisms. So quickly now, we're going to understand the fixer and the white knight, and then I really want to move on, but we're going to spend some more time understanding you. Okay, and I'm not saying that you're all white knights, because I think people have shame around that white knight label. And in fact, I've encountered this, that guys would willingly say, I used to be a white knight, because that's like a badge of honor, as it should be. But then they say, but I am no longer. And then they post the question, and it's a white knight question. Right? And then I'm like, okay. And then even at the suggestion that they could be repeating this pattern, they bridle at that. So, I don't want to trigger you yet, so I might be talking about you. I have no idea if I'm talking about you watching this, but I think most of you in this room, I know you, this is applying to you. Because it's sort of like if you were once an alcoholic, you never want to think of yourself as ever free of that trap, right? You always want to be wary of it. Okay, so because of repetition compulsion, the fixer, we're drawn to people who are unable to meet our emotional needs. Because this is just like the parental figure. That in our childhood, the parental figure, that we were unable to meet their original emotional needs. And they were unable to, therefore, meet our original emotional needs.